So I wake up this morning, right? I check my phone, as I usually do, and I open TikTok. I want to start my day off in a good mood. First thing I see, dead body found in David's trunk. What? I look it up on Google. Oh yeah, no, they actually found a dead body in his trunk. Back up. What do you mean one of my favorite music artists, the guy that wrote Romantic Homicide?
This is David Anthony Burke, a 20-year-old singer who skyrocketed to fame with over 1 billion streams on Spotify, but he is about to be indicted for the murder of 15-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez, a girl whose dismembered body was discovered wrapped in plastic inside the front trunk of his abandoned Tesla. But here is the part that should make your stomach turn. Prosecutors believe David was romantically involved with Celeste when she was just 12 or 13 years old. They shared matching tattoos, and he even wrote songs about her. And now, a Los Angeles grand jury is poised to vote on whether to charge him with murder charges that could send him to prison for the rest of his natural life. Before we dive into the mountain of evidence that investigators have compiled against David, let me take you back to where this nightmare began. Celeste Rivas Hernandez was born on September 7, 2010, to immigrant parents from El Salvador, and she grew up in Lake Elsinore, California, a quiet suburban community roughly 70 miles southeast of Los Angeles. Neighbors who knew her described Celeste as a sweet child with long, curly black hair, someone who was often seen at the local corner store buying candy, soda, and Takis like any ordinary teenager would. However, behind that seemingly normal exterior, Celeste's home life was anything but ordinary. According to official records, Riverside County Sheriff's deputies responded to calls about Celeste's family approximately 11 times in just over a year, from February 2024 all the way to April 2025. Making matters worse, her ex-boyfriend, a 15-year-old named Damian Hernandez, later claimed that she was not treated right at home and that Celeste often confided in him about wanting to run away. And run away she did multiple times, in fact.
She had run away at certain periods of time. It's not that it was a one-time thing where she disappeared in April of 2024. She had run away a couple of times prior and had been returned. Sadly, this time she never came back, and she was missing until she was eventually found deceased. And it's a horribly sad story. Police trying to still figure out what happened. They have not named David a suspect, though they have raided his home. They've searched his home for blood. There are a lot of questions, and you're
On April 5th, 2024, 13-year-old Celeste was officially reported missing after leaving her home without a trace. But this was far from a random disappearance. It was something far more terrible. According to an alleged former teacher who bravely came forward publicly, Celeste had met David on social media, and the teacher claimed that David personally came and got her. She ran away to Hollywood, the cops eventually found her, and authorities brought her back to school. But then, not long after, she vanished again, and this time for good. For 16 agonizing months, Celeste Rivas Hernandez remained missing while her family desperately searched for answers. They circulated flyers throughout the community. Her mother posted emotional pleas on social media begging for information, and still nothing turned up. Then, on September 8, 2025, which happened to be just one day after what would have been Celeste's 15th birthday, workers at a Hollywood tow yard made a discovery that would rock the music industry to its very core.
There's been a huge update in this case, so here is everything we know. A description of the victim has been given out by police. Police have described the victim as a 5'2" female with wavy black hair. She was wearing a tube top and black leggings, as well as a yellow bracelet and stud earrings. And probably one of the most important details about this update is that she has a very distinctive tattoo. She has a tattoo on her right index finger saying shush. Her body
The black 2023 Tesla Model 3 in question had been abandoned in the Hollywood Hills for weeks, possibly as long as an entire month, before finally being towed to the impound lot. When employees at the yard reported a horrific foul odor emanating from the vehicle, LAPD officers immediately responded to investigate. What they discovered inside the front trunk, however, was absolutely nightmarish. Celeste's remains were severely decomposed and dismembered, carefully wrapped in a black plastic bag. Due to the advanced state of decomposition, her body weighed approximately 71 pounds. Despite the deterioration, she was still wearing the tube top, black leggings, and yellow metal chain bracelet that had been described in her original missing persons report. And here is where the evidence begins to point directly at David in a way that becomes impossible to ignore. First and foremost, the Tesla itself was registered to David Anthony Burke, David himself. But perhaps even more damning was the distinctive "shh" tattoo found on Celeste's right index finger, because as it turns out, David has the exact same tattoo in the exact same location.
Agatha Christie famously said, "One coincidence is just a coincidence. Two coincidences are a clue, and three coincidences are proof." So let's talk about the coincidences in the case of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, found dead in the trunk of singer David's abandoned Tesla. Her mother confirms that she had a boyfriend named David. David wrote an unreleased song titled Celeste. Both David and Celeste have a tattoo, same exact one, of the word shh on their right index fingers.
The connections did not stop there either. Celeste's mother confirmed to TMZ that her daughter had been dating someone named David around the time of her disappearance. Furthermore, friends of David have since confirmed to TMZ that David and Celeste were indeed engaged in a romantic relationship, although those same friends claimed they believed she was 19 years old at the time. She was not 19. In reality, she was just 5 years younger when she disappeared, and possibly even younger when their relationship allegedly first began. Now, if the matching tattoos and confirmed romantic relationship were not already damning enough, the evidence against David continues to pile up in ways that become almost impossible for even his most devoted fans to explain away.
Well, TMZ is reporting that friends of David's have confirmed to them that David and Celeste were in fact in a romantic relationship. And these friends also say to TMZ that they thought that she was 19.
Consider this disturbing detail. In his February 2024 music video for One More Dance, David is literally depicted on screen, dragging a body and placing it inside a trunk. The video was released just 2 months before Celeste went missing for the final time. Adding another layer of concern, Discord messages allegedly dating back to 2022 have surfaced showing conversations between David and a user named Celeste, conversations that would have occurred when she was approximately 12 years old. The digital trail does not end there. An unreleased demo track titled Celeste from December 2023 also surfaced online, featuring lyrics that specifically reference a girl by that name. On top of that, photos have emerged showing David and Celeste together at a Los Angeles event in October 2023, and then there is the video evidence that truly sent shockwaves through the internet.
Yeah, that's it, water. This it, water. This it, water. This it, water.
Why, you look good?
Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Don't be shy.
W's in the chat, man.
That brief clip comes from a Twitch live stream, and fans are now convinced that the girl spotted beside David is the same girl who was later found dead in his Tesla. As the investigation intensified, law enforcement took decisive action. On September 17, 2025, LAPD's Robbery Homicide Division executed a search warrant on a Hollywood Hills rental home where David had been staying. The property itself, which was rented for $20,000 per month by David's manager, Josh Marshall, was located just 143 meters from where the Tesla had been abandoned. During the search, detectives used luminol to look for blood evidence, meticulously checked drains for any traces of tissue or DNA, and seized multiple electronics, including a laptop computer for forensic analysis. What investigators recovered from the home raised even more disturbing questions. Among the items seized were a chainsaw and a burn cage capable of reaching 1,600 degrees Fahrenheit, the latter being illegal to possess in Los Angeles County. While authorities have stated that these particular items were not used on Celeste's body, their mere presence in the home paints a deeply troubling picture. Perhaps most tellingly, just days after the raid took place, David and his manager abruptly terminated the lease and vacated the property entirely.
It's like David is pretty much admitting that he may be liable in some way to what happened to Celeste. What is the clearest indication of that? Well, you guys, it's simple. He is transferring his assets to his mom's house. Now, why is this smart? Some people are like, oh, if you transfer assets, they can still go after him civilly. Okay, but not if you're not a suspect, not if you're not under investigation. As long as you do that before you're a suspect or named or under investigation, it's completely legal.
The suspicious behavior did not stop with the hasty move. According to legal documents obtained by TMZ, David transferred the deeds to 2 Houston area properties he owned into a trust under his mother's name. These transfers were completed on September 18th and September 22nd, 2025, with the 18th notably being the exact same day that police were called to one of those homes for a swatting incident. In the early days following the discovery, some of David's defenders speculated that he might have been framed for this horrific crime. After all, he was actively on tour when the body was discovered, performing in Minneapolis on September 9th. But that particular defense began to crumble rapidly once the full timeline emerged.
Reports have emerged that D4 paused his ongoing tour after a woman's body, later identified as a 15-year-old, was found inside a Tesla registered to his name. TMZ reported that the victim and the singer shared the same tattoo, Shush, on the same finger.
He was obsessed with the victim, wrote songs about her, had matching tattoos and tons of pics together. She was still a child. On the image, someone is saying D4 has a very public social media presence. I will say this, I have seen D4 appear on Arky and Yugi. Two exes stream on multiple different occasions. I don't follow D4, but I'm aware that he has some very popular songs. So I was kind of shocked seeing him on other people's stream just like that. He appeared on...
Investigators now believe Celeste may have died as early as spring 2024, which would be months before David's tour even began. And they suspect she possibly died inside his Hollywood Hills rental, after which her body was allegedly dismembered and placed in the Tesla's frunk, where it remained decomposing while David continued performing across the country as if nothing had happened.
From what I know, wasn't them Tesla vehicles gave the clearest 4K pictures ever of the shooters of Julio? If that's the case, this goddamn Tesla should be the key. If David did this, he's the dumbest thing on earth. Why the hell would you go in Elon's on-road spaceship that records everything and go do a crime and then leave the body in the trunk?
Academics raises an excellent point in that clip. Teslas are equipped with Sentry mode cameras that continuously record everything happening around the vehicle. If that footage exists and has been preserved, it could prove definitively who placed Celeste's body inside that trunk and when. With the evidence mounting and public pressure intensifying, prosecutors made a significant move. In early December 2025, a Los Angeles grand jury was officially convened to hear testimony in the case against David. This represented a major escalation in the investigation, as grand juries possess the authority to formally indict, and historically speaking, they tend to follow prosecutors' recommendations the vast majority of the time. Several key witnesses have already provided testimony, including David's manager, Robert Morgenroth, who was reportedly grilled over the course of multiple days about why he allegedly did not alert police upon learning about the body. Record label executives have also taken the stand, facing pointed questions about what they knew regarding the disposal of Celeste's remains and when they knew it. Leading the prosecution is Beth Silverman, a veteran deputy district attorney who has built a formidable reputation through her aggressive tactics in high-profile cases, including the successful prosecution of the notorious Grim Sleeper serial killer. According to sources close to the investigation, she firmly believes that David's involvement warrants murder charges. One complicating factor in the case is that the official cause of death remains deferred, due to the advanced state of decomposition, which has made the investigation considerably more challenging. Toxicology results are still pending as of this recording, and some forensic experts have even suggested that Celeste's death may have resulted from a drug overdose rather than a deliberate homicide. If that turns out to be the case, it could significantly impact the potential charges. However, even if prosecutors ultimately cannot prove murder beyond a reasonable doubt, David is far from being in the clear. Authorities strongly suspect that multiple people assisted in dismembering and disposing of Celeste's body, which means potential charges could extend well beyond murder to include body mutilation and concealment, each of which carries severe penalties under California law. And then, of course, there are the deeply troubling allegations of grooming and statutory offenses related to his alleged romantic relationship with Celeste when she was still a minor.
It's possible that she met David when she was even younger than that, possibly 12 or 13. Now, just based on that information alone, David Burke better hire a very good lawyer. And if he killed Celeste Rivas Hernandez, or if he hid her dead body in his Tesla, he better pray that Johnny Cochran and F. Lee Bailey come back from the dead, because he is gonna need them.
In the wake of these developments, David has completely withdrawn from public life. He has stopped cooperating with authorities, canceled his entire world tour, including both North American and European dates, and gone completely silent on all social media platforms. Reports indicate he has retreated to Texas, far away from the scrutiny of the public eye. Meanwhile, his record label has paused all upcoming releases, and major brands like Crocs and Hollister have severed their partnerships with him entirely. When the story first broke, fellow streamer Jason Lewin was among those who publicly defended David, adamantly claiming there was simply no way he could be guilty of such a crime. But as more and more evidence continued to surface, maintaining that defense became increasingly difficult, if not impossible. As of January 2026, the grand jury proceedings are expected to extend through February, with additional witnesses anticipated to provide testimony in the coming weeks. If David is ultimately indicted and convicted, he could face life imprisonment without the possibility of parole, particularly if prosecutors can establish premeditation. While the death penalty technically remains an option under California law, a current moratorium prevents any executions from being carried out. Regardless of the outcome in the criminal proceedings, civil lawsuits from Celeste's grieving family are also widely anticipated.
Now, one thing obviously that had happened was she was finally buried. And again, the sad part about this obviously is a 15-year-old girl died, okay? Somebody who really didn't truly start life has been robbed of it. And that, to me, is the fucking saddest part of this fucking story, too. And obviously, researching into this, she was not, this was not like a freak connection that had happened between her and David. Now, LAPD had actually been and visiting her house, with her parents and everything, several times, according to the guys over at ABC. Like, there were call logs where, again, they had absolutely apparently shown up before and after.
Civil lawsuits from Celeste's grieving family are also widely anticipated. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see